great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he was able to help you in a way that was positive.
Yeah, and
for you.
I think the roles are reversed. I think I'm his role model, you know,
That's
because
great.
he's, you know, he brags about me, and he's, you know, he's proud because
Yeah.
I went against what he wanted me to do at one point, and then, you know, so it worked out. So he's you know, he's happy.
That's wonderful. Great. How about you, Chris?
Again, not too different from Rich, and I think that's what makes us perfect partners. Is a lot of what we have in common is everything for the most part. My father, again, has been working for the same place 25, almost 30 years now. But going back maybe 15 years ago, I started a small landscaping business. He also started a small fencing company to do it on the side when he came home from work. Eventually built some of it up to what was worth keeping. And I always wanted my dad to get bigger. He said, Dad, why don't we buy somebody else's landscaping routes and make this thing bigger? Forever I've been doing this. But again, my father's, and again, that's why I'll also have to credit a little bit of my entrepreneurship to my father, because he did start something, you know, years ago and gave it a shot. But again, some people like the idea more of being stable and having something every week. So I'll credit some of that to my father. But I don't, I'm train of thought, I just lost it. Again, my father is a good portion of my role model. He did start me there. I think my father at some point in time did have the mentality that I have today. I just brought mine out a little bit further. And that's pretty much it. My father is where it's at. I mean, as far as a role model going forward. And he's still doing what he does to this day, 25 years later. And consistency is key, whether you're doing it for somebody else or you're your own entrepreneur, you know.
How about like reading? Like, I know for me, what has also helped me was, you know, my friend, you know, Chris, that he believed in me. And ever since that time, that's why I pursued life coaching as my second career, also as a passion, you know. But how important is it? Like, I've had mentors and role models, and I read books such as Rich Dad Poor Dad, Myth International, you know, and many of those books. And I find for me, it did impact my life. How about you guys? Did you guys read motivational books? Do you have any mentors?
Think and Grow Rich, we read. And, you know, as far as mentors, like my brother's actually taking his license today in about 2 hours. So, you know, it feels good to be a role model for him. So he's following in my footsteps, which is good. And the good thing, too, is we employ just about all our friends work for us. So it's just like one big like family in our office, which is pretty cool.
That's another thing. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes, you know, we forget that we actually make a contribution to society. I mean, if we start something from nothing, and whether it's friends or just people that we're hiring through interviews and so forth, you know, we're actually making a contribution to society in general, a positive contribution. I mean, especially in times like now, where, you know, not a lot of jobs out there. Could we easily start hiring people left and right? Absolutely. And I think we have the ability to do that, and that is a major contribution. And I think sometimes, you know, we forget at times that we're actually in a position where we could contribute and help people out. You know, when a couple years ago, about a year after we started, and we started growing, I took a look around and I said, Rich, you know, I said, take a look around. We actually are big enough to where we are responsible for people's livelihoods. I mean, if we screw this up, if we can't run our business, we mess with the livelihoods of our brokers, of our friends that we've known for years.
Wow.
And it was a realization that brought me to the conclusion how serious things are, and actually how far we've actually gotten.
And it keeps us straight, you know, like knowing what we have to do and we have to keep. And we have people walking all the time. We had a courier come in and ask for a job.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been out of the, you know, so he might start working for us. You know, we get people in all the time, you know, walking in the door asking for jobs and stuff. So if we could help anyone out and give them a job, it you know, helps with the economy, helps us, you know, so I feel like we're doing the right.
Yeah, you know, it's great because when I see you guys, I see, you know, guys that are hungry to make money and so on. But deep inside, you do have, you know, you have that heart. You know, I see the way you guys are speaking to make a difference. You know, when you say that, look, Rich, you know, we contribute to these people's livelihood. That shows that you care. That you care. So it's not only about yourself, but it's also about making a difference. That's so great to see, especially that you guys are young. I know right now you guys in your growth stage, but do you see yourselves, because I tell you, kids these days need role models. I know my nephews, they're like 22, 23, 24. You know, one of them is going to college, the other one is not. You know, and he, you know, he's working at the deli. know, not that there's anything wrong with working at the deli, but you know, I would love, because we see role models of people going to college, but not too many role models that are young and also make a contribution, you know, to these kids. Is there a way somehow that you guys could offer these kids something, maybe through, one way is to come on the show, but maybe writing a book sometimes in the near future? Of course, you're welcome to come back on my show. I love to hear. You guys inspire me.
I'm actually writing a book.
Excellent. So tell me about that.
Into it. Just a little background, you know, just on everything, the business, you know, pretty much everything we've spoke about, you know, to inspire young people.
Excellent.
Yeah, when I get some more time, I'll finish it, but definitely looking to try to get it published and, you know, go forward with that.
Well, I hope that, you know, can you put a date on that book? When is it going to come out?
I would say like I'll be done with it probably within a year. I mean, just because running the business and everything. And it all stems from being a role model to, if I could be a role model to my family, you know, and my brother, which he considers me, I'd like to be a role model to, you know, people just out of college, I mean, just out of high school, not knowing any direction. And that's to necessarily be my business. But, you know, if you're going to work at the deli or do something like that, go for, you got to use your ability. If you haven't figured out what you want to do or what your ability is, you got to keep searching, because when you find that, that's when you can really make something big out of yourself. It could be any business. You know, it could be delivering newspapers on a large scale, whatever it is. I mean, if you want to make something work for you, you can make it big. You can make anything happen, and that I know because I've done it. You know, and I feel anyone can do it.
That's great. Well, I urge you and to finish that book and come back, and I love to see it, and I love to have my nephews get their hands on it, and I hope you guys come back. I really appreciate you guys coming.
No, I'd love to come back. Absolutely.
Thank you so much
for
coming.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. So here you have it, guys. College not for everybody. And till next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I'm Andrea Luciano, and that's what I'm talking about.
I'm Rick Leidenfrost Wilson, and that's what I'm talking about.
I'm Matt Crone from Acoustically Correct, and that's what I'm talking about.
I'm Ed Fitzpatrick, and that's what I'm talking about.
I'm Nadine, and that's what I'm talking about.
My name's Ken Snyder, and that's what I'm talking about.
County Legislator Dave Denenberg, and that's what I'm talking about.
I'm Rick Laban, and that's what I'm talking about.
And I'm Andre to your left, and that's what I'm talking about.
Hi, I'm Corey Laban, and that's a wrap.